The intelligent cursor in ArchiCAD helps to identify special points on elements such as endpoints, midpoints, corner points, intersections, as well as geometric relationships like perpendicular, tangential, intersections, etc. There are lots and lots of combinations, and in this short movie we'll show just some of them, but others will appear as we're going through the exercise. If I switch to this simple geometry that's been constructed out of 4 pieces of wall, we'll look at some of the different examples. And the first thing is, if I go to the arrow tool, you'll see in a free space just a black arrow appears, a plain black arrow. But as soon as you start to move over elements, if I go over this edge, you'll see there's a little Mercedes icon appears. If I go over the other side of the wall, it's a slightly different Mercedes icon, because in the case of walls, walls have a reference side, so the reference side always shows with a bolded Mercedes icon. And we can actually see that with the pre-selection preview that we're seeing at the moment with the blue lines. If I go over the horizontal wall, again that tells me that's the reference side, whereas the opposite side is the inside typically, and that shows the thin Mercedes icon. If I actually move the mouse into one of these intersections, then in this case I'm getting a tick mark. If I move the mouse away and back again, in some cases, in that case there, it shows an intersection, and then it actually switches to tick mark because it recognises that as being a crossover between the elements. If I was to actually draw a fresh piece of wall, now that I'm actually on a drawing tool, instead of having a plain black arrow, I've got just a plain cross. And if I give the mouse a click, that then changes to pencil. Pencil is typical, the typical icon you see when you're actually drawing elements. And if I move around, again there's various symbols with the pencil. This white tip with no colour in the top of it means it's in a free space, not actually going to snap to anything. If I turn the guidelines off for now, if I then move the mouse over one of the edges of the walls that's already drawn, this grey line appears down the middle of the pencil, and that means it's snapping to an edge. If I move away and then just move along a little bit to the midpoint, then the pencil goes black, and that means it's snapping to the inside edge of the wall. If I put the mouse on the top side and find the midpoint again, let's move away. You'll see this time, again it's a white tip, but that's snapping to the opposite side. If I move along the wall, it's now got a black end on it, and it's still got a line down the middle. If I move across to the curve, there's a perpendicular symbol. If I move up to this piece of wall, perpendicular symbol. And basically when you see these symbols and give the mouse a click, you can be assured that the wall is drawn perpendicular to that particular element. Some of the other symbols that we see, first one is the trim command, and there's various ways of accessing trim. There is a trim shortcut on the toolbar. If I click trim, come across into this edge between these 2 pieces of wall, there's a pair of scissors appear, and if I click the mouse, that trims out the wall in the middle. The next one that's visible is the eyedropper, and this allows me to pick up parameters. So what I could do is pick up the parameters of this blue wall, thicker wall, like so, and then go to the inject symbol, inject parameters into that piece of wall, and that just transfers the parameters between the 2 elements. The other symbols that we see are tick marks. If I put the mouse onto the end of this wall, it's a thick tick mark, that means it's the outside corner point. If I go to the inside, it's a thinner tick mark. Same at the opposite end, and also in the middle. This midpoint is defined by the special snap geometry, and that's set down here currently as half, but if I was to change this to divisions of 4, then I've now got 4 markers, 3 markers, 4 divisions along the outside of the wall, which the cursor will actually snap to. Other symbol that you will see from time to time is if I just draw a plain rectangular slab around the outside of the shape I've already got, click the wall tool. If I use the magic wand symbol appears and allows me to click on a shape and place the geometry around that shape.